Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is Sunday, May 19th. Howard, are you watching NBA?
I was at the airport and in New York, landed and went to double O team. So I'm just hanging out at the airport like a loser. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, they played almost perfect. Milwaukee's a better team, but you never know. Now that they won one game, I mean, they got to win the next two, and then I would be interested. Have you followed it? The Milwaukee's a good team. Jeez.
Yeah, Milwaukee's a really good team, but I think Warriors are unstoppable. But we'll see.
No doubt. No doubt, my man. All right, let us get to the markets. Pretty interesting week.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me share my screen real quick. Just 1 second.
I'm looking for a bunch of.
All right.
Oriented myself. Okay.
So, I'm sharing my screen. This is the S&P 500.
For people new, this is Market Smith. We're a sponsor of the show with the charts and data. And I lost you there. You see me?
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at my screen right now, and that's what I'm sharing, and that's what people are
always have an eye on me.
How did I only have my screen right now, so I'm looking only at my screen. I assume you're there.
I'm here, but I've lost the screen. It's only been doing this 10 years. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Punched.
Okay. So we're looking at the S&P 500.
You are. I'm not. Damn it.
Oh, you're not? Maybe your internet is very slow.
You keep going. Sorry, man.
Okay. And last week it bounced and it found support exactly where it had to, 280. So 280 was a really important level to hold. But as you can see, it's a very important horizontal support line.
Yeah.
And interestingly, on Monday, last Monday, when the S&P broke below its, it just basically gapped down below its 50-day, and then it quickly tested 280, and from there, it reversed. Like the buyers stepped up very swiftly, rallied up to 290, where sellers appeared again. So basically, I think currently we're in a range-bound market. The S&P 500 is trading between 280 and 290. I think above 290, we might see some chasing, some fear of missing out. And below 280, we might see some panic and a quick sell-off to, let's say, 275, 270. My thesis is that for the next 2-3 months, most likely S&P will remain in that big range, 270 to 300.
Yeah, I see so many flat moving averages that I'm a little bit. I'm glad it's a summer. I'm not going to work that hard. This market's tough. My ideas have not been great for 6 months, so I'm going to try and do less. Just kind of wait for some clear trends. I look at the semiconductors and I go, I mean, the market. Here's what's not working. I think it's easier to do that, Ivan. Anything with exposure to China, including Chinese internet stocks. I mean, I think I'm most surprised by that, Ivan. What the hell does the trade war have to do with Chinese internet stocks?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it is the way.
So I think this is the tell. I mean, these are, I don't think, I'm just really surprised. Not that they were in any kind of uptrend, but there's trouble. I mean, that is just trouble. If we look at, so that's K-Web. If we look at like Baidu, I don't know, first not profitable.
Well, Baidu is a separate. I mean, they just missed estimates, and they had a terrible
for a while. Didn't bounce with Tencent and Alibaba. So China, I mean, these are the data points that scare me because these embolden the crazies that some reason this trade tax tariff is working. Let's take a look at John Deere. Well, not that I ever care, but if you're working at John Deere, you're pissed. You just had you're back. 3 years of nothing now. A lot of promises. Um, let's take a look at Caterpillar. This stuff's going to spread. Like, this is not good. Look at Caterpillar. Let's look at Boeing. I mean, Boeing made some of their own mistakes. Now China is threatening to cancel some orders on the planes. So we're back, 3 years, no gains. Some of these had good runs, but these are big industrials that are going to struggle. Let's take a look at the banks. JP Morgan. Yeah, I mean, basically 2.5 years of nothing. So I don't know. I think it's what's not working is a little bit scary. What's working is definitely working. Software, restaurants, right? So we'll get to those.
Yeah.
Same story. But I don't know if it's enough anymore. I mean, yeah, okay. So you want to go right into what's working? Go ahead, Ivan.
Last week you mentioned, and we talked about it, that in an environment where people were afraid of the consequences of the U.S.-China trade war, capital may hide into software and restaurant stocks. And we also mentioned that they were showing notable relative strength even before those Sunday's tweets about potential escalation. And China retaliated. They decided to raise tariff on some U.S. goods. And last week we saw that many software stocks broke out to new all-time highs. Many of them have very rich valuation, therefore they have many short sellers.
Yeah.
And we kind of saw a short squeeze last week.
We saw a short squeeze. These are trading at 20. So this is Zscaler. Let's pull up Shopify. These are trading at 15 to 20 times sales, not earnings.
Yes.
So yes, I think what you have, Ivan, is like you have low interest rates. You have Pat Nixon, as I call him, asking for lower rates. You have very few things working except software. For all the talk of the economy, and the economy that I live in is fantastic. So I'm not complaining. But if I pay $1,000 or $1,200 for an iPhone, that's my job. I'm going to pay. It's not affecting me. I'm part of the group that this tariff doesn't affect. Even if I pay higher prices. But Apple's a good chart. I mean, this is China. This is like K-Web. This is no joke. Apple has the cash to survive whatever this government throws at them, but very few people or companies do, right? So there's some breakage. If we look at Google, whether it's infighting or just.
I have a sense that you're very pessimistic and very all of a sudden.
No. It's a very narrow. Listen, I love software, but I don't like paying 20 times sales for things. And the China stuff is real. It's not a small market that is under attack. And for whatever the reasons, it just makes the market.
The market is currently certainly forecasting and pricing in a potential recession in China. It's been doing so for basically the past year and a half. But keep in mind that the Chinese Communist Party is also regulating their currency, and the Chinese yuan is kind of falling pretty hard against the US dollar. So this is how they will compensate against any tariffs. So
I like to see. I like things to make sense to me, and the way the markets are behaving, it just feels very narrow. If you look at semiconductors, they pulled back into a 2-year base after breaking out. And again, this may be China related. What's working is software and restaurants. Look at Chipotle's. I don't know, but
CMG incredible relative strength. Look how it keeps finding buyers near its. But this is its 50-day moving average, and now it's setting up near its all-time highs. Short interest, just 3 days, decent amount.
I used to go there all the time. I don't go there on the stock rallies. I don't know, 50%, 100%. That's how stocks work. It's almost at an all-time high, isn't it, Ivan?
Yes, it's almost at all-time highs.
It's yeah.
Hugh Jackman is finally having a great year. So I think he's one of
Having
the
a good year with Starbucks. He got restaurants right. Starbucks also having a good year. You know, they've got competitors now with this LK with
Oh, yeah, exactly. Okay, that Chinese branded. It's only 18 months old, and they are
18 months old.
yes.
Valuation. Oh my god!
I don't know, 5 billion as of right now. And the funny thing is that people say that the Chinese people don't even drink coffee. Like Chinese people drink on average 6 coffee cups a year. So maybe there is some
opportunity.
Room for cultural change, but an opportunity.
I hate to see the Chinese hopped up on caffeine. Okay, anything else stand out to you, Ivan? I mean, the Momentum 50 list has a lot of interesting names. So I mean,
a lot of software. We have Tinder Match Group is in top 10.
Yeah, it's also
Libre is kind of holding near all-time highs, but it's mostly enterprise software. A lot of software.
Yeah,
some biotech names, some restaurants.
Twilio, same names. If I got Match wrong, I really liked it here at 60. It didn't play the breakout. 74 quickly. I don't love it anymore at 74. It's a great company.
Take a look.
I just have so few that like are working for me or reversing the base. It's just the market right now.
Short interest, so definitely a short squeeze after those earnings here. When you have a company that beats estimates and gaps at all-time highs with such a high short interest, it's very likely that you see at least a couple weeks of follow through. But now it'll get interesting as the momentum is starting to phase out.
Yeah, but it was a good trade at 60. So for those that took it, great. So I don't really have that much more data. Is there anything that you're looking at, Ivan, that stands out? You said that the China, I mean, biotech also, like the
there are quite biotechs that are looking, I think, pretty constructive, especially on the higher time frames, like this one, Arrowhead. If you take a look on a weekly, I think that's a pretty constructive base here. You just need to be patient to see it clear 20. But then if we're really in a range-bound market, and I believe we are, then keep in mind that we'll see many false breakouts and breakouts.
Yeah, that's a nice chart.
If you're active, you just need to learn to think a little bit out of the box and play the ranges and be very nimble.
Yeah, I don't have the time, but yeah, this is what you're here for. So I'm watching you get chopped around, and I don't like pushing things. But yeah, ARWR, that looks pretty interesting. What else in biotech? Interesting.
Incure is holding its gap. Buyers stepped in here near that gap, which is good.
Yeah.
And now it can spend the next 6 months in a sideways range, but the fact that it's holding that gap, I think it's positive. And there's another one, I think it's either Dutch or Danish biotech also holding the gap. There are quite a few, if you at least a couple dozen biotechs that are, I think,
couple thousand.
Dozen, not thousand. This one broke out last week, huge volume. Let's see if it holds its gap.
What is that? IOVA. I have a bunch of people talking about that.
I have no idea what they do. I just saw the price action last week. Huge volume breakout.
That was popular. I was getting a bunch of emails on that one. It's hard for me to bite. I just don't understand the companies, but it's a good tour for people that kind of.
Well, so some may argue that Beyond Meat is kind of a biotech company, just in a joking manner, but considering how much stuff they have in their product.
$5 billion company already.
But it's, many.
It's biotech meets food, I guess. But you're stretching every kind of formula. This is what I don't like doing. But at the same time, interest rates are low, and if you have a good, exit strategy and you're diligent, you can pay higher prices for stocks. You just got to understand what you're doing. But at the same time, I think I want to wait and see a little bit broader besides just software. But at the same time, everything, I don't know why I would own anything other than a software stock, which I always say, because those are the ones that grow, as we've seen through all kinds of craziness. But these valuations, Ivan, I mean, it's hard for me to get my head around.
Evaluation, and when we get to the stage where everyone thinks that you can't go wrong with the software, I think that might be the time I mean, they could easily have a 50% correction, and
Absolutely.
so I think people need to be careful there and have an exit strategy of some form.
Okay. Are you enjoying my podcast?
Yeah, I listened only to one episode with.
Wait a minute. That's your one thing, to listen to all of them. And
I haven't had time, Howard, but I've listened to them. And I mean, it would be better if you make them a little shorter, because time is a valuable asset. But you have some very interesting guests. I listened to a little bit with Gary and a little bit with the previous guy who used to work at Twitter.
Guy, I love it. All right. Well, you're busy. I mean, the good news is you're busy. God forbid you wouldn't be busy. All right, buddy. Have a good week. How's San Diego?
It's super rainy. It's very weird this year.
Really?
Um,
Max is there now. I'm sure he's taking up all your Tinder dates. Max is a roaming Tinder right now in San Diego.
I'm not on Tinder. I have a long-term.
Yes, you are. I think someone's ghosting you.
That's fine. I mean, if they can get any dates with my pictures and profile, just.
Gary Shandling. He's back from the grave. All right. Have a good week, man.
Bye.
Good night.